We now move to the next session of the day, which is the streaming revolution is regional, the new global. We talk about how the KGFs, the Ponir Selvans, the Kantaras have all taken the entire world by storm. And is that also going to take the entertainment industry to a whole new level is what we will discuss. To take us through the session will be chaired by Sonal Dabral, writer, director, and creative consultant. And the panelists include Aparna Purohit, head of India Originals, Prime Video India; Pushkar and Gayatri, writers, directors, and producers; Andrew Lewis, writer and director, as well as noted actor and filmmaker S.J. Surya. Can I request the panelists to join us on stage, please?
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm really feeling privileged today because around me on this panel is such decades of wisdom, decades of experience combined. Not that we are old, but combined decades of experience, wisdom, world-beating talent. And therefore, I've got lots of questions here to ask these people. But एक problem ये है कि time is short, so I think jump straight into it. Yeah. So Aparna, first of all, huge congratulations to you to you and Prime Video for all the amazing stories that you're putting in front of the world, and especially the astounding regional content that Prime Video has clearly taken the lead in, right? And as I'm sure everybody will endorse here. That calls for an applause, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because Prime Video boasts of the widest and deepest repository of regional content, and that too in, I believe, 10 languages. Yep. So my first question is related to that. And that is, your thoughts on, one hears of regional is the new global. So I'd like your thoughts on it, because who better to talk about it than you? So that's one. And the second question also combined with that, which is, what's your strategy for creating regional original content? Because there has been so much of such huge success in terms of the very recent one, Sural, and many others, yeah? And Gayatri and Pushkar, the creators of that. And we'll talk about it a little more later. So what's the strategy around creating that content? And regional being the new global, what's your thoughts on that?
Thank you so much for those questions, and thank you for having all of us here. This is a really momentous occasion because we just announced our second Tamil original Vadandi, which has been created by Andrew, and S.J. Surya stars in it. Pushkar, Gayatri have produced it, so this is a great occasion. In my opinion, calling anything regional may not be the right thing. I think what we create are really local and authentic stories. Stories that are truly rooted. Stories that can, bring the soil, the smell of the region where those stories are set. And I believe that the more local you are, the more global you are. So we create Tamil stories. We created Sural with Pushkar, Gayatri, Vadandi, which is coming with Andrew. It is primarily for the Tamil audiences, much like we create French originals for our French audiences or German originals for our German audiences. But the beauty of streaming is that it can go to audiences in 240 plus countries and territories, wow, day and date, and the opportunity for audiences to enjoy that content in the language, thanks to the localization, in the language that they can follow it in. And I think that has helped really transcend all barriers of ethnicity and region and language and religion and everything. And it's the good characters, the good stories that stay with the audiences. Also, the most interesting thing that's happened in the last couple of years is that the linguistic palette of the audiences has expanded. I can say that more than 50% of our audiences today are watching content in at least 4 languages.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So today, somebody sitting in Punjab is enjoying content from Malayalam
True,
and
true.
Tamil. And,
Absolutely.
people sitting in Bombay are enjoying content from everywhere. We are enjoying content from across the world. That is the most amazing thing that has happened. And for us, that increases and expands the addressable market. So when today we are creating a Tamil show, it's not just for the Tamil audiences. We know that it's going to resonate with everyone because the story is so compelling. So I think that is what I'd like to say, that it's local, authentic stories that are going to be truly global. Some of our films that we put out, like Jai Bhim or Sururai Potru
True.
or Sher Shah, have been watched by almost audiences in almost 200 countries, 4,000 plus cities and towns in the country. Sural that we launched with dubs and subs in 30 languages, I think it's a gift that keeps on giving. There are audiences that are still talking about it and are still loving it across the world. So I really feel that it's local that is the global.
Absolutely. And some of these statistics are so mind-boggling. And you talked of Sural and Gayatri and Pushkar. It's so great to see you. Because, my personal experience with Sural is that I was wary, because I'd never watched a Tamil series. I'd watched films, but never a series. And that kept cropping up, in the things that I was reading. Every time I switched on the TV, it kept cropping. And I got into it when I read so much about it. And I was absolutely hooked. I mean, people who have seen it, if you've not seen it, please do see it. I was absolutely hooked, and I just couldn't stop binge watching it, but I stopped myself. I told myself that, and that's an anti of binge watching, I told myself that it's so good that I should savor it, over a few days. And that's what I did. So the question now for you is that all these platforms now, right, and as Aparna so beautifully put, have opened this whole world of opportunities for serious filmmakers like you, who want to tell different kinds of stories, who want to tell stories in a different way. So your thoughts on that, and with all your experience in other genre, when you came to this, what were your feelings, thoughts, experiences?
I guess long form has always been very exciting for us since the days of The Wire and Sopranos. I think those two shows kind of defined what long form storytelling is about. But again, if you remember from those days, trying to see one episode of The Wire and then waiting a week for the next episode to come and then waiting another week, it was a huge commitment. So even at that point, we thought like, how I wish we could watch all the episodes together. And the only way for you to do it was wait for a year till the Blu-ray DVD came out and then you watch the show together, which is what we did for many of the great shows which came out in the late 90s, the early 2000s and stuff like that. So what streaming has done for storytellers, what Amazon Prime Video has done for us is, it gives us the option of doing what you're doing, watching two episodes and then watching 2 episodes the next day and 2 episodes the next day. And we do that. I mean, evenings when we are free, we would like to put on a show on TV and we watch 2-3 episodes because we want to savor the impact of that. One episode doesn't cut it. We want to watch that second, maybe we'll watch the third, maybe we'll watch the fourth. So it's putting the power in the audience's hand to see how much you want to ingest at one given point in time. So when Sural came out, there was this reviewer from West Bengal who had written, I wish I had not watched all the episodes together. He watched all 8 episodes back to back to back over one night and then put the review out the next morning. He said, I wish I'd seen 1 episode a day. I think I would have got into it even more.
That proves I was right.
Yeah. And apparently he went back and did that too. So he finished binge watching it and then went back and watched 1 episode per day just to test himself out to see if his experience was different. So in that way, as soon as you start putting the power in the hands of the audience, we are making them co-creators. So this is an idea we strongly believe in, is that the filmmakers are part of the creation process. The final step is the audience. The audience are also creating with you. They are running these stories in their head. What happens next? I wish I could empathize with that person, sympathize with that person. How I wish I could hold their hands. This is what the audience are thinking. They want to be part of the character's life. So you're giving that power to the audience now. So I think the way forward is for us to realize that this audience, the streaming audience, is going to grow and grow in India. And they're going to keep looking for newer and newer stories. And where are these new stories going to come? They're going to come from what's hyper-local. Because I think streaming especially fits into that mold where you can go deep into a certain space. We are on both sides of the divide. We do, it's not a divide, but we do feature films too, we do long form too. And there's a very clear difference in the way which we would approach writing a feature film versus writing a long form. There are things which are just not possible in feature writing, which are very much possible in long form writing. Gayatri will tell you about that too. So as storytellers, it gives us another platter to explore, which I think is here to stay, and it's just going to grow and grow in the next 5 years.
Actually, yeah, that was pretty exhaustive. So one thing is, yeah, like as Pushkar had mentioned, this long form storytelling, that is actually a huge opportunity and like a huge liberating process for us as writer filmmakers. You know, so that is like cracking that structure and making things work for that. That was an extremely enjoyable process. And another big takeaway from you know, like working with the streaming platform like Amazon is, see, right now, like right here, we are here as producers. So we are like super excited about our show, which is like launching on Amazon on December 2nd. So like by our friend Andrew and as J. Surya sir is acting. So like what you were saying, no? So that the way the story is written, the way it is constructed, the reversals which happen, and I mean, like, so all you've invested and like, you know, as like, you know, you keep imagining stuff, everything will be challenged, every little belief of yours will be, and there'll be like these mind-bending twists and turns, which I think the scope for it is there. You know, like you know, if you are doing a 2-hour feature, then you can't actually explore so many characters, the world. So this one is set in a very specific seaside town in South India with a very specific dialect. So I mean, typically in a film, you can maximum concentrate on, like say, one protagonist, and there has to be an antagonist and a love story. So
and things have to be more telegraphic, you know.
Like, yeah. So the range of stories you can say, the range of the world you can explore, I think that is a beautiful process. And then another thing is, so say if you're doing something so hyper-local, you still want your story to reach a huge audience. I mean, that way you're always greedy. As filmmakers, storytellers, we want maximum number of people to watch our stories, I mean, watch what we're saying. So that in streaming has made it possible. So that I think we are living in extremely exciting times as storytellers and producers and filmmakers and actors. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
And this hyper-local stories that you talked about, Aparna talked about, you and all of you talked about, and the fact that the power is now in the audience's hand. Similarly, I experienced so many times, even in advertising, you know, when there were some multinationals who came and said, oh, this ad of ours worked really well in the UK, just adapt it here. It never works, you know. You have to have localized story, localized version of that. And I think hyper-local, the more hyper-local you go, I think it becomes more human, right? Because ultimately, Sural and all, they work so well for anybody across the world, because at the end of it all, they are very human stories. It's got human emotions, you know.
I think that definition of hyperlocal is what we need to arrive at. Hyperlocal is not just about the customs and cultures and the language and the geography of a place. When you say hyperlocal, you're actually making it, as you said it, way more human, way more rooted in base human emotions, love, anger, greed, lust, whatever is the base of your series. Or softer emotions? Is it about family? Is it about togetherness? How do you make it feel real and lived in is what makes it hyperlocal. Yeah. So it could be hyperlocal in New York. It could be hyperlocal in Mumbai. It need not be just that small town. Absolutely. But it is that the sense of hyperlocal comes from making the people and the situation close to reality.
True and authentic.
Relatable, identifiable.
Yeah, true, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Surya, coming to you now, I've spent a long time in Ogilvy, and David Ogilvy, who was a founder of Ogilvy, used to talk about divine discontent, that creative people should have divine discontent with everything. And I think Surya here, right, is a manifestation of that, because he's not content by just being a writer. He has to be a director also, music director also, and actor also. So Surya, that's fantastic, that you've done so well in so many different fields. And so therefore this question to you, how has this whole streaming revolution, created newer opportunities for stories, newer forms of entertainment from your point of view, from somebody who's delving in so many different things?
Very simple. See, those days, great sagas like Ramayana, Mahabharata, there are a lot of pages. It's a book. It's like a Bible. It's like, it's full of 800 pages. More than 1,000 pages. Now, if it is on silver screen, it's just 120 page. Because per page is 1 minute. Okay? So they say it should not go more than 120 pages. Because 120 pages, 1 minute per page, 2 hours. Then 4 songs and fight, another 20 minutes. So 220 you target, end up with 240. After final trimming, it will become 230. Okay, so this is so you have to stick to that 120 page scripting. So you have to concentrate. You cannot just make juice. You have to make juice. You have to concentrate it, and bring it to 120 page. Okay, but here the culture changes now. Okay, so Raman has to go to Lanka to get Sita back. Correct. Okay, that's it, right?
Correct.
So where this Wali episode? Where this Guhan episode?
Yep.
Why all this happening?
Yep.
See, because it's a process.
Sure.
To go in detail.
Everything has a reason.
Everything has a reason.
Yes.
Everything has, through all these episodes, through all the real journey, you can feel the real, you put yourself into Rama's place. Okay.
Which is not possible.
Now, this OTTP and this web series are getting that old thing in a new, old wine in a new bottle, like.
Very nicely.
Yeah, that's what I feel.
Nicely put.
Am I right?
Nicely put. Yeah.
And Prime is cherishing. Actually, they bought MGM, all these movies. Even in the night I used to watch one James Bond movie. Just okay, like So I'm seeing a lot of web series and movies. It's a big story. So now writers, it's time for writers. So you have full freedom.
True.
To write a number of pages.
True.
Okay.
And explore characters.
Explore, and you can derive the characters, you can create the dramas, you can make a journey towards the target.
Very good.
That Vadanti, as you said, that as Madam said, the localization is the global, key to global. Yeah, that's right. Perfect, actually. Because whatever it is, you concentrate on emotion. then it will connect the entire world. Okay? You sweat, you get saliva seeing food. Okay?
True, true.
Okay, like your vital parts, whoever having vital parts, the heart, you feel sorry for things,
Yeah,
you feel greedy for things.
yeah.
Who all are having heart, who all are having this eyes, who all are having this brain, who all are sweat, they will enjoy the emotion. It's global.
Very good.
It's global.
Yep.
So that's why Kantara working, that's why any emotion it will work. Even one time Mr. Maniratnam, Director Maniratnam made Roja. It reached here. It's a one small girl from a village. Okay. You might ask a question, why an engineer should marry only village girl? It can't be another engineer.
True.
But to enhance that emotion.
Yeah, sure.
It should be from a village. The girl not exposed to this public. The girl not knowing the language. With that, how she struggled to get her.
So conflicts get created, yeah. And that then talks to the heart.
Yeah, like that. Mr. Andrew made a fantastic emotional thriller called Vadanti. I'm so happy being a part of it, and I'm taking this opportunity to thank Mr. Andrew and director, producer Pushkar Gayatri ma'am, and the prime Aparna ma'am.
Good that you mentioned it, because we are now coming to that. Because that's the other exciting part, which is that it's hitting on 1st of December,
Starting with the,
2nd of December.
the thanking.
Absolutely. No, you talked about it at the right time. So Aparna, I'd like to ask you to talk a little more about the Vadanti, the fable of Veloni.
I mean, the creators.
Yeah, the
here-
creators. So I've got questions for all of them, but I wanted you to first set the base and talk about it, how it got made and all that, and then.
So, earlier you'd asked me a question on how we go about selecting subjects and choosing subjects. And really, for us, it's the story that's the starting point for everything. If there is a story, that's truly compelling and truly differentiated, if it's got characters that stay with you, that, make you ponder and question, then that's a story that we'd like to back. And if it's in the hands of really passionate creators, who losing their sleep over that story, then that's a creator that we definitely want to work with. And of course, all of our decisions are customer backwards. Who's going to be watching this show? And like I mentioned earlier, that now with streaming, those barriers are gone. So, when Andrew pitched this story, 2 years ago, just the passion with which he spoke about this story. The story set in a small town about a girl, Veloni, whose life is riddled with rumors. Vadanti, by the way, means rumors. And it's riddled with rumors. And a cop who will not stop at anything till he finds the truth. He's
Now I want
hell-bent.
2nd December to come very fast.
Yes.
Seriously.
And the story is truly rooted, it's so authentic, like Pushkar was mentioning earlier, it's got all the emotions, it's got love and deceit and lies and the craze to seek justice. It will just tug at your heartstrings. And the cultural tapestry, the nuances of a small town, the dialect that he's used, the caste that we have, that is really.
Aparna, now I just observed something,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm butting in, which is that now I know how you make such good stories. You're living them as you talk about the. Seriously, didn't she? Anyway, sorry, yeah.
No, I've been really fortunate to work with some
Yeah, you were
incredible creators who trusted us with all of these stories. So really, that is Vadanti, the fable.
Excellent.
The fable of Veloni.
So Andrew, a couple of questions for you. Which is, what are the top few things that you want the audience to take away from this story, Vadanti?
So, start with, of course, this whole team with whom I'm here. I'm really happy. They've been saying wonderful things about Vadanti, so I was just smiling all the while while that was happening. And this team being extremely special, another reason is Pushkar and Gayatri are my classmates from college. And I started my career with Surya sir, actually assistant director. So I worked under him for 7 years, and then much later I got to direct him. So this is the best team I can be in, and from the time I started directing movies, there have been a lot of hardships, but today morning I was telling Aparna, 2 years back, meeting her and whatever I've done in the past 2 years, I'll be really happy to repeat them all over again.
Lovely.
So that's how it's been. With Vadanti has been staying with me for a very long time. Almost from 2015, somewhere the germination of this particular idea in the mind, and slowly it was evolving, and whatever I was seeing in the society, for me it's the question, what is a crime, what is justice? So somewhere the most dangerous weapon of all, I feel, is the human tongue.
Human tongue.
Yeah.
Ah,
What can come out of it?
sure. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's what Vadanti is all about, rumors.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
In Tamil they say, Narambilla Nak. That
No nerve in
Nerve
the
in
tongue.
the tongue.
the tongue. There is no nerves in the tongue. It can talk anything. It allowed to talk anything.
Yeah.
Narambilla Nak means
Nerveless tongue.
Tongue.
the
So
tongue doesn't have.
it can talk anything. It has the liberty to talk anything.
No, not at all. So the thing is, yeah. So this story is about how perceptions can kill someone. Completely damage their life, their happiness and everything. So somewhere by the end of the entire series, I feel everybody will be able to question themselves if they are committing a crime in any form, okay, without their knowledge. So that they would try to, even one person, if they are going to be responsible enough to change the way they are doing things, that will be a very big outcome. And I feel Vadanti might, achieve at least a small percentage of that particular thing.
Ah, very good. And we talked about hyperlocal, authenticity, real stories. What do you think let's say a global audience will like about Vadanti, will take out of Vadanti?
See, there are nuances which are relating to the world of the story, Kanyakumari, where we have set it. But as far as the context is concerned, it's relatable all over the world. Like how Sir was saying, like how everybody sweats, or anybody with a heart will obviously feel. This is something that I think is universal. Okay?
Right.
So it's universal. So everywhere, even if it be like in Europe or America, universal.
Ah, true. Gossip is universal.
Exactly. That's a human nature.
Whether you be American or whether you be Italian, whether you be anyone, you will gossip. You will love to talk about, that's what director said.
Exactly.
The nak is tongue. It's without nerve. It will talk anything to get pleasure,
That's
out
quite
of
a-
others' pain.
Such a lovely saying, nerveless tongue.
Narambilla nak.
Yeah. Narambilla.
Narambilla naku.
Narambilla nak.
I
And-
like the way you say in Tamil. No?
Yeah, no,
Even
no,
Sulal,
I'm learning,
he
I'm learning.
pronounced it perfectly.
I'm learning. I'm learning. And this other insight that the tongue can commit a crime. What a. Sometimes
That's Vadanti.
that's what one keeps looking for as a creative person, that insights that are always there, but you never knew them, So suddenly if somebody tells you tongue can commit a crime, it's superb as a thought. You have, your first film was a romantic comedy, yeah?
Yeah.
And then you did a thriller.
Yeah.
So what's the difference that you find between when you approach a thriller versus, and what is it that you liked about doing thrillers?
When I first started off, I basically thought I was a romantic person back then, so I started I started with a romantic story, but then the genre shifted. I changed, and then I started getting into writing thrillers. So my second movie was actually murder mystery, and this also Vadanti has turned out to be a crime thriller. Each genre has its own genre-specific nuances, but in a thriller, I feel the amount of details that you're trying to share with the audience needs to keep them hooked. And either you're too little or too much details can actually completely affect the viewing experience. Sometimes, even in trying to get the performance, some actors you need to hide the backstory or part of the story so that you get the desired performance from them. Their knowledge of having the fact of having entire knowledge of what the story is might kill the performance that they
Might
can
color
actually
that.
give.
That's fascinating.
So you need to hide it from them. While we were doing Vadanti, the focus puller, he is a very experienced guy. So he was trying to keep guessing, he was trying to connect the dots and trying to figure out what the story is all about. And though it was happening right in front of his eyes somewhere, he couldn't really figure it out. So he kept asking so finally what is that big reveal? So I said wait till it gets released.
Superb.
So that's
And,
how
yeah.
it is.
Now that you say it, since Pushkar and Gayatri, both of you love this genre of thrillers, and it suddenly made me realize that as a writer of these thrillers and mysteries, crime mysteries, you must be having feeling that, a puppeteer kind of power, that you're leaving a crumb for the audience to see. But I won't tell them now. I'll tell them later. Don't you get that feeling? Do you get that? And no, I've got one more question to him, which is in one of your interviews, I read this, which I thought was fascinating. Let me read it. Which is, you said that Vadindi is an example of storytelling in its raw and natural form, right? And crime as a genre is something that brings out the art of storytelling in its most raw and natural form. That's what you said. So I'd like you to elaborate on it.
So, specifically when you write a crime thriller, no, life is actually much easier than writing a romantic drama or a relationship drama. Why? Because you're dealing with that one hard emotion which led to the crime being committed. So it's the base human character of a crime is always clear. It will be there's either passion or there's greed or whatever the reason you associate as your big reveal, right? What is the crime about? So now you've got a base on which you're building. So you're not trying to distill it down to over here. You're starting from here and then building the world around. So that's why crime writing is interesting. I mean, if you take all the noir writing which came out in the, say, 50s, 60s and all that, the hard-boiled detective fiction and all that. So crime, especially the noir crime which we are all writing, deals with the grayness and the darkness of otherwise very normal people. So here you're starting off by making the people very normal rather than having idealistic views, which is what cinema needs, right? So in cinema, you create these hugely aspirational, hugely idealistic characters. With crime, and especially in long form, you're actually making them more human. The more human you make them and give them
Flawed.
the rawness which leads to the crime, that way you're making them into people who are actually more scary. Because it could be you, it could be me. We saw this series recently in which there was a brilliant line which said, for a crime to be committed, it just needs the right person on a bad day. The right person on the wrong day. And anybody could be a murderer. So I thought that kind of connects with the idea of what crime writing is. Crime writing is the fact that pushed to a corner, you could have done this. That is where audience associate with any kind of crime writing. Everything else is built on top of that. You hide stuff, you reveal stuff, you create red herrings, you build it in such a way that you are hiding in plain sight who your main antagonist is or who's the perpetrator of the crime. So all that is craft. But the main thing is you're starting from a point where your key emotion is very, very human. So that's where the rawness comes from.
True. Honesty.
And writing a mystery is like actually playing a game with the audience.
True.
So that is actually the, I mean, for writing, no, that is like superbly, I mean, engaging, and you need to up your skills. You need to keep revisiting your own stuff. You know, you need to think from, say you're playing chess, you need to think from both sides.
It's almost like outsmarting the reader or the viewer.
Yeah, yeah. So you need to see it. Okay, this is where they'll see the red herring. Okay, this is where they might. So you need to just keep going back and forth. So usually it's like, you know, you can't just get away with like a couple of drafts. You need to do like a bunch of drafts. Then kind of, you know, how you're ending, you need to place some stuff in the beginning. So then that will kind of mislead. And audience also really enjoy the game, you know, like that will like really hold their, finally at the end of the day, okay, what happened? What happened? So that, they also start engaging with the game. So they will keep guessing, then sometimes you're given, okay, you know, it's like, you engage them in the game. Yeah, you are kind of right, but not really. So that actually is like almost like flirting. It's like playing with the audience. So that is an exciting part. And one thing is you can't just make it all about the plot and about the game. You need to have the emotion and the people connect along with it. Otherwise, otherwise you really don't care. I mean, okay, someone committed a crime, somebody is a victim, I don't care. So you need to have that emotional engagement and that world building. Okay, those people feel real, that you actually care for them. So that needs to actually mix with the plot to have a good crime mystery.
Excellent.
On Vadanti, something very interesting happened at the scripting stage. So all of us knew the story. There was a scene, episode by episode breakdown of how the story is going to flow. And Andrew writes alone. He was writing all the episodes, and every episode comes to us, and we would discuss about it. And so we knew where the story was heading because we know what the Bible is. The 8th episode comes in, we're reading, yeah, okay, we know this. What? He's changed the story. It had a new ending. It had a completely new ending. He pulled the rug out from people who have been living with the story for 6 months, 8 months kinds. So when we read the 8th episode of what Andrew had written, it was like a shock. It was like, when did this come in? So that is the beauty of crime writing. It was a complete shock to us. He changed it. And that I think is... that I think is the beauty of writing mysteries. Any crime story which comes in, there will be a certain section of the audience will say, hey, I knew this. I knew this from the first episode. I knew this from the first frame. I knew it when the poster was announced. But as long as they last till the end to see if their guess was right or not,
your job is done.
You're good. So that's something which we tell to young writers who get discouraged by people predicting their ending. It's like, that's a skill which you will build up. It's not every member of the audience can be misled, misdirected, taken down the journey. There will be some people who guess it. As long as they're there till the end of the journey, you're good. So make the journey fruitful. Make the episode by episode. It shouldn't all just be about the last big reveal, showing who the murderer is, the killer is, or what happened as such. Getting to that point needs to be interesting.
Yeah, sure. Excellent.
Caring about the characters.
Just to add to that, like how Pushka was saying about the 8th episode, the thing is, while we did the step outline, I had given them a particular, idea as to like how it's going to unfold and stuff. And a little later, immediately I came up with, changing the script towards the 8th episode and stuff. But I wanted to reserve it and check on them, how they are going to react. So all along, they have been thinking, this is how the story is going to end. So that was like, you know, almost some 6 months I have been holding on to that idea, not revealing it to them, thinking if they are not guessing this, then it's going to be a, you know, sure shot
Very good.
success.
And it worked.
Yeah.
And it
And
worked.
it worked beautifully with all of them. So once I was able to completely, like, you know, fool them with that particular thing,
I'm now
I thought
dying to
it's
see
going to
that.
really
I'm
work.
now dying to see it. At this,
Yeah.
this time I'll binge watch. I've got just two quick questions. First to Surya and then one last one to Aparna. Surya, you've spent 3 decades, almost more than 3 decades in the industry and in various roles, as I spoke about, star, director, music director, and this is your, Vadindi is your debut in OTT, yeah? What is it about the story and the character that made you choose this, and what was the experience like?
Take a little time.
Yeah, and then one question to Aparna, then we
Yeah.
wrap.
See, before getting to your question, I just want to compliment the statement what Director Gayatri ma'am said. See, thriller itself a entertainment. Why? To make a love story, you have to create dramas to entertain people. Like if you see Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, Shah Rukh Khan has come to Punjab to take the girl into his life, okay? But Amrish Puri ji doesn't know this is the guy. And all the people who are there, they don't know he is one here who is in love with this girl. Okay, they create the drama to make it interesting. Okay. As she said, thriller itself a entertainer. Because till you know the climax, till you know who done it, it's all drama. You got the point. So it is default
All
entertaining
drama.
element. So thriller has one point. Okay, thriller has one benefit to reach the audience. That's why thriller always works.
Yeah.
And that's why Alfred Hitchcock always works because it's thriller, it's entertainer.
Yeah, sure.
Automatically it entertains people.
And-
To love story, you have to create drama to make it entertain.
And thriller is drama from the beginning.
It by itself.
By itself is drama.
That is one reason.
That's a good point. That's a
I'll-
good.
yeah.
I'm learning a lot today. No, really, really. These are nice, sweet
No,
insights.
because drama, you need drama to make to entertain the people. You should have drama in it. If everybody knows Shah Rukh Khan has come to take the girl, then what is the drama? What is interesting? Nothing. Okay. Only audience and girl and Shah Rukh Khan knows he is here for the girl. Rest all don't know. Drama create.
True, true.
It entertains the people. All the scene will entertain.
So that's what you found in Vadindi.
Vadandi, because it's a thriller, the story itself, by default, it itself an entertainer.
True.
And on top of that, Andrew sir added as he said, fantastic emotion in that. Though this police officer, see, for a police officer, it's just another case, right? For a doctor, it's just another operation. If he has to do operation for his own son, then that's a different scenario. Okay.
You know, I don't know who said it, but I found it really good. That little thing, which is that for a good storytelling, all you need to do is to make people care.
Yeah.
You know, such a
That
powerful
happens.
thing.
See, one by accident.
Care for the story, care for characters.
Yeah.
The moment you start caring for characters, you are sucked in.
Yes. That way, this what brilliant writing Mr. Andrew did is that Vivek, the character, the police officer who is decoding this murder, he just starts. In the course of time, how it has become very personal to him.
Nice.
That made the whole show very interesting.
Super.
Emotional. Even after, while watching, the thrill will thrill you, the thrill will entertain you. After the show, the emotion will go with you. That's what, you know, that's what Vadandi did. As far as what I know about that, what all I did in that, what he made me to do that. So that gave me the charge to do that.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So all the best for this.
Thank you,
and
thank you so much.
I'm really,
and
really
he used one dialect. I have to mention that point. Sorry, I'm taking one more minute. Okay, it's a dialect. It's a Kanyakumari dialect. Okay, it's down south.
Okay.
It's in India.
That's where it's set. Yeah.
Kashmir say Kanyakumari, that Kanyakumari, and Kerala is a Kerala border.
Yeah.
So it's a little of Malayalam,
Nice.
little of South dialect, Tamil's South dialect. Tamil South itself has 4 dialects.
Very good.
It's a Tirunelveli dialect mixed with the Kerala dialect. It sounds like, see, though you don't know Spanish, you'll enjoy that. You like that dialect, right?
Yeah.
Because though you don't know
And
Spanish.
that's such a beautiful thing, the dialect, the smells, the
Yeah.
sound. Although you can start actually smelling when something is really, truly, properly done,
Like that, what dialect he used now. I'm telling you, this 240 countries people, that what Prime gained all this audience that we are exploring through Prime, they all will enjoy this special dialect for sure, whether they know the language or don't know. One special request to this audience, you see it with the dubbed one, and again if you want to see it in the original language with the subtitle, to feel that dialect. So sure,
it's
you will,
actually best watched with subtitles.
Yeah,
Best watched.
no,
And
it's that's what.
yeah.
Second watch.
Yeah.
I'm requesting people to watch it when you do second time. Watch it with the original language, with subtitle, to enjoy particularly this dialect.
Nice.
That's what.
And to think that, Aparna, coming to that question that I wanted to ask, which is that, as you said, no, the dialect and watch with subtitles, it's amazing that Sural went to 30 languages across the world, was released in 30 languages. And then there was this Amu, which was again Telugu that you launched. Yeah. And now this Vadindi, which is now coming on the 2nd, and which I'm trying to watch. There's one common thread. All 3 of them have really strong female characters. Yeah. So I wanted to know the tenet that you follow in your storytelling. And is there is it just a coincidence, or is there a thought out feeling? Is there a reason that you have these stories with such strong female characters? That's one. And second question, which is slightly different, is that you would be greenlighting crime thrillers, romantic comedies, all kinds of stories. What is it that you do to greenlight them that your strike rate is so good?
That
Your strike rate is so good. So,
thank you for
whichever
noticing.
question you want to answer first.
I'll take the first one. So
Sure.
thank you for noticing that there are strong female characters in all of our stories, and not all of them may be led by women or female-centric narratives, but all of them have very strong women with agency. And this is no coincidence. I want to tell you that there is intentionality behind it. There is thought behind it. Women are 50% of the audiences of the population, but stories about them, told by them, made for them, are just so few and far in between.
True.
But when you put women in positions of influence, when you put women in positions of authority, in decision-making roles, then that change starts coming. Because when somebody comes and pitches a story to me now, and even though the story may not have a strong female protagonist, there are still females, there are still women in the characters, in the story. And I insist that all of them have agency. We insist that there are women in the writer's room. And I'm really glad to share that almost 70% of our shows that have launched so far have had women in the writer's
Superb.
room. We have women, at least 30% women in HOD positions in all of our shows. And therefore, whether you see Four More Shots Please, or Amu, or Majama, or Sudal, or Vadandi, this is no coincidence. It is thought through. We want to put forward these narratives. That's the first one, and really, there is no secret sauce. I wish I knew about that. It's, like I said, it's just how compelling is the story? Is this story keeping Andrew up at nights? Is this story really governing him? Is he really, if he doesn't tell the story, then, something is going to not happen in his life. So those are the things that I'm looking for, why this story? What is so compelling about it? If we don't tell it, what's going to happen? Really, just that. Great story in the hands of a great and a passionate creator.
Superb. And although we don't have any time, but is there any question that anybody wants to ask? I swear I'm not purposely delaying it, but seriously, because it's been such a wonderful panel,
That brings us to the end of the chat that we just had. Wishing good luck to the entire team.